sustainability and conservation related to energy. The first question we have for you is a two-part question. So first, what is most rewarding about your job? And second part is what's most challenging about your job?
So I will take the second part first, because it's a little easier to answer. So lately we've found that there are a lot of scams out there, unfortunately, but especially on like the solar side of things, where these fraudulent people are calling customers trying to say they're part of our company or part of a solar developer or just even an installation contractor. And a lot of times they're just after kind of the same old things that they are, people's address information and personal data. So we've actually found, especially this year, an uptick in that sort of thing. So sometimes for new customers, it's a little more difficult to get the point across that, hey, we are your electric utility. You're already buying power from us, but these programs, the SIP program and the program I'm a part of, would kind of help them out. So I guess that kind of leads into the other question too, in that I would say this position, I've worked a few other kind of various sales positions throughout my lifetime, and I would say this is kind of the opposite of sales, where instead of selling a widget to someone and them giving you money, you're actually helping that person understand how they're using power, something they're purchasing from you, but then you're incentivizing them to actually reduce and be more efficient and conserve energy. So it's for me, it's just so exciting to be able to go into a facility, make some recommendations, and hear or even just see the usage firsthand, that months later they've been able to save X amount of dollars, save X amount of energy. And in turn, a lot of customers will take those savings and reinvest that in their facilities. So being able to help customers grow by saving them money is I would say, one of the most rewarding, or if not the most rewarding part of this.
So then relatedly, when talking with or working with customers, what do you find to be some of the most common misconceptions they have about energy conservation?
That's a really good question. So a lot of customers don't understand how demand works. So you have two different measures when you're talking about power. You have usage, which is kilowatt hours, and then you have demand, kilowatts. And so you have there are a couple different ways that those can be tracked. Most residential customers don't have any demand charges, but on the industrial and commercial side of things, those numbers can be anywhere from 10 or 11 kW all the way up to 500 to 1,000 or more for these larger light and power customers. So helping people understand or interpret their bills, I would say, is definitely a big part of this. And then just helping them understand too, especially on the demand side, that if they set a demand peak, that as a utility, we have a promise to serve. So we have to allot that much power to them. So you have things like power factors and load factors and a lot of different kind of calculations that come into play when calculating a bill. It's not just a meter spinning around on the side of the building. For a lot of these commercial and industrial customers, it's more advanced. So just trying to interpret that information in a way that they can understand it has definitely been challenging.
And then what are some things that individuals or families can do to help save on energy?
Yes. So I would say one of the biggest things, and I think soon enough we'll start to see this as standard equipment, would be to replace any fluorescent or old, metal halide old lights with LED options. It makes a huge difference. And then, just at the same time, talking to your utility and seeing what programs are out there. A lot of utilities, including Minnesota Power, will do free residential audits. So we will send someone out to someone's house or a commercial facility, walk around and look at, all the HVAC, all the lighting, any other building envelope. So insulation, windows, and just try to make recommendations. And this is a free service to anyone in our territory. And I know many other utilities have similar programs to just help customers identify and understand their usage. And so I would say the biggest thing is just to call the utilities.
All right. And then referring back to early in your presentation, you're talking a little bit about how you ended up where you are. So thinking, because it sounds like you've always had a little bit of an interest in sustainability. So thinking back to your really early years as a youth, high schooler, middle schooler, are there any things that you experienced that really inspired that interest in sustainability?
I would say, so I grew up in southeastern Minnesota down by Winona, and my grandparents, aunts and uncles, a lot of our extended family were involved in a shared dairy operation. And so kind of being around the farming and agriculture practice and just realizing how, little costs can add up, and how, certain things, I guess are done a certain way just because that's the way they were done. So I would say early on, just asking the question to my grandpa, of why do you irrigate this way? Or, why is all the heat from your milking parlor just going out into the air? Why can't that go to help the calves or the smaller animals? So I guess just being around the farm and understanding that, sustainability is really key to a successful operation like theirs, and kind of just asking questions as a kid. It's cold in here and it's warm in there. Why can't it be warm in here? So just kind of taking note of the surroundings, and for me, the agricultural setting really kind of helped spur that interest.
Thanks. I think it's always very fascinating to hear how what things inspired people to pursue, a field and a career, because it's always, things that you might not expect. So with that, I'll give you guys a couple seconds to collect your thoughts, but I would like both you, Dylan and Mark, to share just 30 seconds on some closing thoughts about related to high schoolers, middle schoolers thinking about their future career, whether it's in energy or engineering, or any thoughts you have about the importance of looking at powering the world and engineering energy as our theme relayed. Does one of you guys want to go first? Want to volunteer?
I can go first. I think just to summarize it as quickly as I can, our world is changing so much from a sustainability standpoint, and for how many people are living on this planet and what we can do with it. And I just think as a young individual, just don't ever get sucked into doing one thing or thinking one thing, because as you guys grow up and as you see things change and you have the power to change things and come up with really cool designs to help things, be a lot better in the future. It can help the world, it can help all of our lifestyles, and just don't stick to conventionalism ways that everybody's grown up with. So just always be thinking out there, and there's no such thing as a crazy wild idea, because that's how we get a lot of good things from this world.
Thank you. And then Dylan.
Yeah, I would 100% echo what Mark said, and absolutely emphasize that. And I also think in my current experience and in my career, I would say, if you have interests in sustainability or conservation, but maybe you don't feel like you're, the best at math or certain things, there are so many different ways to get involved in empowering the world and conserving. And, it could be something so vastly different than being an engineer or being an energy analyst, or working for a utility. There are so many other different facets of the industry that folks can look into. So I would say, if you have a passion for something, there are so many different ways to get there. And I would say don't limit yourself based on certain things, certain maybe academic moments where you're struggling. And at the same time, sometimes those struggles, they are difficult in the moment, but you get through them and you come out of it with just a whole new understanding or a whole new kind of respect for what you're looking at. So I think, if you're feeling challenged, there are ways that you can kind of change what you're doing, but at the same time, you know, those challenges are some of the best opportunities for growth.
All right, thank you very much. Rose, did you have any final thoughts, or I saw you popped up there.
I just want to thank our speakers today. Thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you, Mark and Dylan, very much. We appreciate you giving you time and preparing those presentations, and we look forward to being able to share those with the students.
Absolutely, no worries. Glad to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Glad to be part of it. Thank you.